Okay, in this second 3-point perspective video, we're going to be drawing from the perspective of like a bug or an ant on the ground looking up at a building. So it's the same basic steps, except this time our third vanishing point is going to be high up in the sky rather than below our building. And you can see I've drawn the horizon line again. It's just much lower this time. So we still have 2 vanishing points on either side of the horizon line. The third vanishing point, remember, is now up in the sky. So we're going to put that right at the top of our paper. Same basic steps, okay? So this time I'm going to start with the bottom corner of my building. So that can be right on the horizon line. If you remember, the horizon line represents your eye level. So because this horizon line is so low down, that's what gives us the feeling and that kind of visualization of being low, being like an ant, like a little insect on the ground staring up at this humongous building in front of him. So the bottom corner of the building is going to be here, okay? I don't have to actually connect that to the vanishing points because you see the horizon line is kind of doing that for us. So it is maybe a little simpler. There are a few less steps involved. The orthogonal line is going to connect the corner of my building to the top vanishing point, and that's going to represent that corner of the building. Okay, again, I didn't put the corner directly underneath. It's off to the left or to the right. Just a choice I made just so you can really start to see that illusion happen. Next, I'm going to decide how tall I want my building to be. I probably don't want it to be all the way up here. This will give me the option of having other buildings higher or lower down. So I'm going to choose to have the top of my building be like this high. And then I can take that corner and connect to both the left and the right vanishing points. Just like so. Okay, remember, draw lightly. You know the drawer is going to be erasing later. Now I can draw the sides of the building, which, remember, I would normally kind of do the line up and slide down, except these are not going to be drawn as parallel. They're actually going to be drawn using that third orthogonal line. Okay, and this is going to give the illusion that where I am sitting, the building looks larger. And as it gets taller and taller and moves away from me, it's going to appear smaller. Okay, so I can decide how wide I want that building to be by where I place those lines, just like that. Okay, now I can go ahead and erase. I can erase this bit here. I can erase all of this stuff as well. Okay, I'm not going to show the doors and windows again. You guys can watch the previous video where we were drawing from the bird's eye point of view. The principle is going to be the same. So if you wanted to stripe the building or anything like that, you'd have to kind of crisscross, find that diagonal line to find that optical center, and then use that to kind of divide up the building. This time, remember, anything that is lower down is going to appear larger. As things get further away from us and they move up the building, they're going to get smaller. If I wanted to do a second building, I can do that. So a second building, again, is just going to start with a dot that represents the corner of the building. So let's say this building is over here and maybe it's taller this time. Okay, so I can start, you know what, let me make that a little closer. Put it right up here. That way they'll look like they're closer to each other. So I can start by drawing a vertical line. Okay, so that's going to represent the corner of that building. I can draw and connect the top of that building to each of the vanishing points. Okay, just like that. And I'm not going to draw the whole thing. I know the building's not going to be quite that tall. Wherever I want that building to end, I can put a little dot. Let's say it's going to be about that big. And then I can line up to my third vanishing point, that line, and draw that in. And then again, I'll draw it over there so you guys can see it. Like that. Okay, so you start to get the feeling as if you are on the ground, right? And we're looking up to see the face of this building kind of towering over us. Back of the building is kind of moving away, maybe down like a little alley or something like that. And you can see how just going and adding that dot, using the orthogonal lines where you would want a or using the orthogonal lines where you would normally want a vertical that connects to that third vanishing point, and then continuing to use the two vanishing points on the horizon line like we would normally do in 2-point perspective. You can create this really unique point of view that you're down here on the ground looking up at these buildings before you.